If you're starting over after divorce and it feels like nothing's moving forward, like you're stuck in the same place no matter how hard you try, I see you. Maybe you're discouraged, overwhelmed, or even thinking about giving up, but you're not alone. In this video, I'm sharing part 2 of my life update, what's really been going on behind the scenes, the plan I've created to move forward, and how you can walk this journey with me. Let's stop surviving and start rebuilding together. So how exactly am I planning on riding my fears? I know that God has called me to this YouTube channel and to use it to teach his women of faith how to identify toxic marriages that he has not put together, and then how to hear him on whether or not to get out of them. So in order to understand what I plan to do going forward, it's important to know what I've done in the past. See, when I first started this YouTube channel and the Lord told me to start it, I knew that I was going to have to go through a child custody battle. So there were a lot of decisions that I made about the channel that were not authentic. I certainly wasn't trying to lie or deceive anyone, but I knew that I was going to be going through a custody battle and I wanted to limit what I put out online. So as a result, I didn't show up as my true authentic self. The things that I wanted to talk about related to divorce, I wouldn't talk about. I was talking in third person a lot, and I wasn't being specific about my situation and circumstances because I was trying to be very deliberate and very strategic, and I was basically holding back. And it's not just that I was holding back on the content, I was holding back on the frequency of the content, partly because I didn't want to share everything, but also partly because I was fighting a legal battle that I just did not have the energy to fight and do YouTube. So as a result, my channel suffered. I've had this same channel for 5 years and it still has not taken off. And it's because the secret sauce to any business, to anything that you're going to do for God, is that you have to do it with your whole heart. If you're going to half do it, then you're not going to be able to succeed. So the first step for me to do YouTube is that I have to get over my fears. I have to get over my fears that I can't share everything I want to share. And that means sharing whatever is on my heart and whatever God instructs me to share. The next thing is that I gotta be consistent. I can't let the woes of life and the worries and the cares that I'm dealing with stop me from being consistent and doing what God's called me to do. So I have to find a way to be able to be consistent even when I have a lot going on. So it's important to me to be able to do that. So this is what we're going to do. So the first goal that I set for myself is I wanted to be consistent, and I wanted to figure out a way to be consistent even when I have a lot going on. So I used those hindrances. The first hindrance is I have a lot going on, which means that I cannot get in front of the camera as often as I need in order to be consistent. So I have to find a way to post content consistently that doesn't require me to have to be on camera. So that's what I have done. I have made a plan to reuse some of my old content and to post that in a different way, in a re-edited way where I am still showing up authentically to talk to you, but I don't have to do it with my face on there every day. Now, what exactly does consistent mean? Well, previously consistent meant posting a video every week. But considering the fact that I am trying to push through these fears and I'm trying to really do it at expert speed, for me, it's important for me to post every day and to post every day until I see results. That is a goal that God and I set. So that's what I'm going to do. So I don't remember how many days I'm at right now. I think I'm at like day 24 of posting every day. Now, results does not mean monetized, okay? For most YouTubers, that's what that would mean. But for me, that's not what that means. What that means is that I can see that God's message is getting to God's women. So that means comments from you guys, and that means sales from my website. That's what the Lord told me to look for. He told me to look for sales on my website, and he told me to look for changes in my YouTube channel. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. And until I see the promises of God, I'm going to post every day. So what does that mean? That means that when I'm available to put my face on screen and talk to you like this, That's what I'm going to do. But when I'm not available to do that, then I will be editing my videos from my older content. So if you have been with this channel for a long time, you may be seeing some content that you've already seen, but I'm trying to pick content that's the oldest content, like from the beginning, like 5 or 4 years ago, so that it doesn't look so recent. But in addition to that, I am also trying to ask the Lord, what do you want to say for a time such as this? Is there anything else, anything new that you want to say? You might also notice that I have been playing around with the thumbnails. I might be like David, and I might still be living in the caves, and I might still be not able to live in the palace like I know God has promised. That doesn't mean that I can't fight for Israel. That doesn't mean that I can't fight for the women of faith that are in these toxic marriages, that are crying out to God, that are looking for resources. It doesn't mean that I can't do what God has called me to do. So I may not have the best YouTube setup, and I may not have a quiet place to record most of the time, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to do what God called me to do. Now, here's what's important. If you are in a situation or circumstance, if being in a toxic marriage has left you in a situation or circumstance where you are fearful, I want to encourage you to ride those fears. What is it that those fears are trying to keep you from doing? Do that thing. Even if it means you have to do it scared, and even if it means that you have to do it in a way that is not ideal or uncomfortable. See, for me, this is uncomfortable. I am a planner. I am a type of person that likes to have all of my ducks in a row and all of my stuff together before I do something. I'm in a season where I've had to go through a depression, and that has zapped and drained my energy for literally years. And so for me, it's really important that when I do put forth energy and effort to do something, that I feel like it's going to be my best. If I feel like it's not going to be my best, then I don't want to try. So that's part of the way that I have to ride my fears. I have to do this even if it's not in the ideal situation or circumstance. I have to do it even if it means I have to repurpose old content, because I'd prefer not to do that. I prefer to be able to show up on a regular basis and talk to you. But the reality of it is my life will not allow me to do that right now. And that's okay. That has to be okay. That is a fear, but it's okay. And that's what we have to do, is that maybe, just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said, it's possible that our fears will come to pass. It is possible that God might not deliver us, but even if he doesn't, I'm still not going to worship your image. I'm still not going to do what you're asking me to do. And that's the way I have to behave. And that's the way I have to move. I have to say, God has called me to do this YouTube channel. And even if that means that I have to do it in a way that's uncomfortable for me, you're not going to stop me from doing it. What has God put on your heart that you're not doing? What has he instructed you to do that you are waiting until the situation and circumstances are perfect? Don't wait any longer. Do it. Do what God's called you to do. Do what God has placed on your heart. Do what he's created you to be. When Moses was getting ready to go to Pharaoh, and he asked God, who do you want me to say? What name do you want me to give him? And the Lord responded, I am who I am. What that meant is, I'm God. That's who I am. That's my DNA. That is who I am. Just tell him I am who I am. What that meant is, I'm going to continue to be who I am, which is God. And we'll see which one of us is truly God. And that is what's important, is that you may look around you and say, this person has a better setup, or this person has a better situation or circumstance, but you are who you are. If God has created you to do that, then just be who you are. Even if it means that you have to do it in a way that you prefer not to do it. Even if it means that you have to be uncomfortable, do what God's called you to do. And that's what I'm going to do. So I want you to follow me on this journey. I'm going to continue to be consistent, and I will be posting every single day. I'm going to be posting for women of faith who are in toxic situations. And I'm going to be posting for those of us who have gotten out, but we're still rebuilding our lives. I'm going to keep pushing and continue to do what God's called me to do. And every time I have an opportunity to get on screen, to update you guys and to tell you how it's going, that's what I'm going to do. In the meantime, I would love to talk to you in the comments. If you have a question, if you have a comment, if you want to say anything, let's talk in the comments. I may not have time to get on the video and to edit it and all those things, but I do have time to respond to your comments. So leave me a comment. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because if there are any of you that you've already gotten a divorce and you feel like you're stuck, you feel like your life is standing still, you feel like you're afraid that your kids are going to be grown by the time you can make anything of yourself, do it now. Do what God's called you to do now. Find a way to do it now. You may be wanting things to be perfect, but you just have to ride your feels and do it now.
I am Amanda Nicole, and I am the CEO of Freedom Through Divorce. And so I create personal development courses and ebooks and all kinds of things that are geared towards women of God who have been through divorce, who are considering divorce, and who want to move towards freedom and finding their purpose in God. So what is Freedom Through Divorce? Well, Freedom Through Divorce is actually an online school full of personal development courses for women of God who have been through divorce or who are considering divorce. Anyone who has had to deal with divorce understands that it is extremely difficult. There are so many balls that you have to juggle. Will the children be okay? Is this something that God is going to be okay with? How does it affect my relationship with God? How am I going to learn how to be independent as a new single person or a new single mom? There's so many things you have to consider. And as a Christian, there are just so few resources out there to help you understand how to navigate those things. So this is a school that really goes from considering divorce and understanding God's views on divorce, when it's acceptable, when it's not acceptable, and understanding that there are so many more cases where God sees divorce as acceptable than what is normally taught out there. And it does it in a way that is not condescending, that's not judgmental, that is just giving you the information from God's heart. And most importantly, is from someone that's been through what you're going through. It's not just theology. It's not just, I read this or I heard this, but it's someone that's actually walked through it. So the personal development courses are meant to help you move and experience freedom through divorce, because there's so many people who they get a divorce, but they don't thrive afterwards. They stay stuck. They stay bitter. They stay telling anyone that'll listen how terrible their ex is. And that's not God's plan for you. God wants you to be able to move towards the purpose and plan that He has for your life and to thrive so that the chapter of your life post-divorce is better. That's what the word says. It says your latter days shall be greater than the former days. So that's what Freedom Through Divorce is all about. It's personal development courses that you can take the information from a biblical perspective and experiencing God's freedom, His prosperity, His love, His joy, His peace, all of the fruits of the Spirit and the blessings that He sent His Son to die for you to be able to have. Just because you've had to go through a divorce does not mean that you are negated from the promises that God has for you. So that's what Freedom Through Divorce is. If you're interested in learning more, visit our school today.